this is who I am. I wouldn't be loving myself if I changed these things for you. That's fine, but then you no longer deserve this person's company.
If someone is asking you to change in a relationship, in a committed relationship, and you change for them, is that real love? Doing it for someone else so that they can be happy? Or is it a lack of self-love and saying, actually, that's not something I want to do right now. And I want to accept who I am in this moment, my personality or my habits or my mannerisms or whatever it is that they want to change. And I'm willing to walk away if that doesn't work for you.
That's a really difficult question.
And I get context and what it is and what the requests are. I get it.
I suppose.
But if someone's never happy with you and they want you to change something about you, I mean, maybe it's for the good. Like maybe you're overweight a lot and you getting in shape would actually be healthier and would make things better and you'd have more energy or whatever it might be. I get it. But it should be your partner wanting you to make the change, or should the person be saying, you know what? I want to keep evolving and growing as a part of my value system in life and in our relationship. And that's why I'm going to keep growing.
Yeah.
You know, is it love if you change for someone else?
It's a big question. Look, I think firstly, people alert us to things that we that we discover we want to change about ourselves all the time, right? How many of the things that we realize about ourselves, we realize because of how that habit, that behavior is experienced in relation to other people. So enough people in your family tell you that there's something, a way that you are that is affecting them. And that mirror, you know, assuming they come to you in healthy ways or that they point things out in a loving or compassionate way, but that mirror is a wake-up call for you about a way that you are affecting people, or how your behavior is hurting people. That, you know, we learn about ourselves in those ways all the time in life. So to that extent, in some ways it's a loving thing for someone around you to trust you enough, or to trust the relationship enough to feel like they can be honest with you.
Give you some feedback or...
Yeah, because when I think of the most brittle relationships, or what defines a brittle relationship, or one where that doesn't have that foundation of safety and trust and love, I think of a relationship where people aren't honest with each other about the things they're unhappy about, because they're too afraid that the relationship can't sustain it. I've been in relationships where I was so busy trying to hold on to someone and worried that I wasn't going to be able to hold on to them.
Really?
That I wasn't honest about what I was unhappy with about that person.
Because you didn't want to rock the boat or make them upset.
I was afraid that I was going to be seen as difficult or high maintenance, or that it was going to be one too many things for me to ask that person. And, you know, I didn't value myself enough in the relationship to be honest with someone about how something was affecting me. And so I think that it's an act of love for someone to even feel safe enough in a relationship to be able to tell us something like that they may wish to be different, or that maybe is hurting them. I think that how we receive that and what we do about that is also an act of love. Now, the question is, how fundamental is the thing they're asking us to change, and is it possible for us to change it? Does it force us to just shift away from who we actually are? And that gets into all sorts of interesting territory, right? Because if, let's say you're a narcissist and someone comes to you and says, like, this pathological lying that you're doing is really affecting me.
Yeah.
Or the fact that you gaslight me, or the fact that you never involve me in any major decisions and that you make every decision unilaterally for our lives, or, the fact that you never consider me, or I really these things need to change, you know, could that person argue, I wouldn't be loving myself if I made all these changes?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you could take it to that extreme and you'd say, well, that's a fine argument for the narcissist to make, is that you're not accepting me for me. This is who I am. I wouldn't be loving myself if I changed these things for you. That's fine, but then you no longer deserve this person's company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this person's not, you're not entitled to this person constantly being abused by you, or constantly accepting that their reality is distorted by being with you. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, it's not, they don't have to put up with it. Them loving them, if your definition of loving yourself is that you get to stay all of these abusive ways, well, their definition of loving themselves might be to get out of the way of you. Mm. So, you know, I do think that we have to say, what kind of person do I need to be in order to attract the kind of person I want to be with? If I want to be with a very kind and generous person, well, what's the level of kindness or generosity on my part that is necessary for me to be able to keep that company? Mm. And in some ways, it could be, I'm only thinking about this in real time, but it could be the wrong question to say, is it loving myself to be this for somebody else? It might be that I have to go, what kind of love do I want to attract in my life? Mm. Because me loving myself is me giving myself the gift of that kind of love.
Right.
But what do I need to be or represent? What behavior do I need to model in order to attract that kind of love?
Yes.
That is the kind of love that if I received it would be an act of love for me to receive. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I hope I'm not getting too abstract with that, but it's like...
No, it makes sense.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.